match area. I think it's a really close matchup. Junk versus Jund. Every time we've seen the Junk Aristocrats deck play, it's so dependent on in what order it draws its cards, which combination of cards it draws, and some cards, especially a card like Varolz, is so good against
really
the
is.
Jund deck. So I think it really hinges on the Varolz. I think Bonde has a little bit of an advantage.
Sure. It might even come down to how many Miracle Bonfires there are.
Yeah, that too.
All right, so Bonde leads off with a Godless Shrine, takes 2 damage, pays 2 life, however you want to look at it, but plays a Doom Traveler,
Yep, good turn 1.
Yeah.
It's really important for the Junk Aristocrats deck to play on curve. To
Exactly.
Really curve their opponent out, put them on the back foot so its scrappy little 1/1s are not outclassed later.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what you have on turn 1, whether it be a Doom Traveler or a Young Wolf, you just want something on turn 1. Right. That's really important. You're able to protect your Cartel Aristocrat, you're able to go Blood Artist into, Voice of Resurgence here, for example, so just a really good draw.
Yeah. Doom Traveler voice great against Jonathan Morawski. He needs a Pillar Flame. That would be his ideal turn 2 here. Farseek would be pretty good too.
Yeah, it looks like he drew an Olivia Voldaren. A strong card, a lot better when he's able to cast him on turn 3, which is not going to be the case. He's going to have to wait until turn 4. And another voice off the top. Wow.
I really wonder what hand Jono kept here. Without a Pillar, without a Farseek.
You actually saw his face when the camera, he kind of get I do see a Rakdos return in his hand, something that you don't really want against a Junk Aristocrat deck. They play out their hand pretty fast.
I'm going to have to ask him about this hand after this match because this looks really sketchy.
Yeah, we'll see. Would you play a voice here or would you play a Cartel Aristocrat? He goes with the Cartel Aristocrat. What do you think about playing a second voice?
I think I would like that better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Morawski can't Miracle a Bonfire yet for your whole board, so why not play another voice? Next turn play the Cartel for a little more protection.
Maybe, there's no way that Michael's just gonna lose his voice just to make an elemental this turn. I think that's pretty much out of the question.
No way.
Is it because of if it's because of the mana issues, wouldn't you want Cartel next turn because you have the Swamp?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of interesting sequencing. I'll be interested to ask him about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to run you down Jono's list real quick here in terms of his removal suite.
Sure.
Game 1, he has access to Putrefies, 2 Putrefies.
Wow, a Rakdos return for 1.
Discard 1 card.
I see a Tragic Slip, I see a voice. What's that last card?
Varolz?
Varolz?
Yeah.
I don't think I want to lose a Varolz. But he has a. That's interesting.
I guess I think he really needs to be able to kill any potential Olivia Voldaren that comes down.
Yeah, I think if he took the other line of having 2 voices in play, I think pitching Cartel Aristocrat would be okay.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's not going to change too much, but it would be nice. I guess this plays fine as well. So Jonathan's really on the back foot here.
He is. So in his main deck, he has access to 2 Putrefy, 3 Bonfire, 2 Tragic Slip, 2 Mizzium Mortars, Dreadbore. So
all right, there's an
quite a bit of
Olivia,
removal.
but here comes the Tragic Slip. But can Michael kill him this turn if he sacks the voices? The elementals are going to 4/4. That's 11 points of damage exactly.
Xaxes.
All right.
Xaxes, thank you very much.
And wow, that was a quick game. It was so quick that I didn't even think of a trivia question. And I was like, you know what, this game's going to go a while. But that's crazy.
It's all right. I have one prepared. So
Zach's always prepared for the trivia question. Now remember, if you guys want to try to win some free premium, tweet at SCG Live.
That's right.
You could hashtag.
Yeah, the hashtag is the important part. You have to use the hashtag. It's going to appear right down there in the middle there.
SCG Premium.
SCG Premium. That's the one you need.
Yeah.
You can tweet at me. You can tweet at Gerard.
Yeah, tweet at
us.
Matter.
Add us on. Why not?
We had a bunch of tweets today, but we could always use more tweets.
There you go.
All right. So, Zach, what's the question for everybody out there?
So at the Grand Prix in Miami last week, the one that Star City Games ran, the one that Reed Duke won.
Yep.
There was an employee of Star City Games, a writer for Star City Games, in the top 4. Now, this player really, I don't know if he designed the deck. He had some help designing the deck.
Sure.
But this player in the top 4 innovated, created a new twist on an old archetype. Star City employee. Who is this player? And what
There could have
deck?
been a couple of them. Let's give him a bit more hint.
Okay.
The deck is Junk Aristocrats. Is that which one you wanted?
Gerard, you can't win the premium.
No, but we're not going for the deck. I thought we were looking for the player.
Oh, okay.
What were we looking for?
The deck is Junk Aristocrats. you have to get the player.
You have to get the player.
So
now. Okay.
You don't need the deck, I suppose. Get the player who top 4'd the Grand Prix last week in Miami.
He's a writer for Star City.
Junk Aristocrats.
And he's on the premium side, so if you win this, you get to read his stuff.
Boy, that really narrows it down, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I have a great question for tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Good.
So make sure I don't forget it.
I'll have you write it down.
All right, so back to the match. We'll try to get the sideboard up for you guys. If not, we'll just read it off for you guys. Again, Michael Bonde, he's towards your right. He won the first game. His sideboard looks like 2 Smites, 3 Abrupt Decays, 4 Deathrite Shamans, 2 Appetite for Brains, an Obsidian, Ray of Revelation, and of course a Duress. You see it on screen. What do you think he wants to bring in versus John? You played this matchup before. I know you have. I watched you in the hotel lobby 2 nights ago.
Well,
You're on Moto grinding the heads-up cues.
Oh, every day.
What do what do you want to bring in, Zach?
Really, there's not that much appealing here. Certainly 2 Appetite for Brains. That's going to be Michael's all-star. He's going to want to draw that pretty early. Duress also pretty good. Take out a pesky Pillar Flame that hasn't been cast yet. Maybe a Rakdos Return if that's still in Jono's deck. And of course, the 1 Obsidian is going to be huge. Just a really, really great card against something like a Jund deck.
Okay.
That plays pillars, things like that. I don't think he wants Smites, Rays, Abrupt Decays.
Yeah, I could agree slightly with that. I think Bonde definitely wants the extra Obsidian. It's just a powerful card. The Duresses and the Appetite Brains are nice. I don't know how much he's going to dilute his deck, though. I think the Appetite for Brains is more important than the Duress. You want to hit Huntmaster, you want to hit Olivia, you want to stop Thragtusk. It's close,
Yeah, the Duress is definitely the worst of the 2 in the matchup.
Sure.
2 Appetites will come in for sure, maybe 1 Duress, depending on how many cards he wants to shave from his main deck.
Yeah.
I think the real question is Deathrite Shaman. Does he bring those in, and how many?
No, I don't think he really cares about Deathrite Shaman, to be honest. I think Deathrite Shaman is mostly against just the Junk Reanimator deck.
Okay, versus a deck like Jonathan's, which has Bonfire of the Damned, it's also could be a liability.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think about Jono? Is there anything that he really wants to do to the deck? I know he wants to take out those Rakdos returns there. I mean, you saw that game. On turn 3, just Rakdos returned for what?
Right.
Just because he had nothing else to do.
Seems pretty bad. Ravens Crime you on turn 3.
I mean, he definitely wants the 2 Pillar Flames. Duress doesn't really do anything. The Barter and Bloods are pretty bad against Voice of Resurgence or Doom Travelers.
Trade with half of a Lingering Souls. That's really embarrassing.
Yeah, he doesn't want Appetite for Brains. Vraska, no. Liliana's, no. Rorkdar's, no. Underrook. All John really has is 2 Pillar Flames.
Yeah, he seems very unprepared for this matchup. I mean, you can make the argument he has a lot of removal in the main deck, so he's already prepared. But, after watching this Junk Aristocrats deck play throughout the day and play in the finals and the top 8 last week, it's really scary, and I think every deck in this top 8 needs more sideboard slots for it.
Yeah, I think so as well. I know he probably wants to cut those 2 Rakdos returns and those 2 Ground Seals. Ground Seals they cycle, but they don't really do anything.
Yeah, it's not what you want to be doing.
Yeah,
it's not like it stops the Lingering Souls from being cast. That has flashback.
Yeah, I think John O knows that this matchup's really bad, and he's just smiling, and he's like, all right, well, matchup's pretty bad, but I'll do what I can.
I don't think it's all that bad. I really don't. Michael Bonde, he only has 4 Tragics left. That's his entire removal package. So if Jono can land something like an Olivia, even a Thragtusk gains some life, blocks. If Michael has just an average draw, and Olivia could really run away with the game.
Sure. All right. Well, they're off to the races. Only 8 minutes in so far.
Yeah, 8 minutes, and they're already shuffled up for game 2.
Yeah, have their opening hands drawn. Hopefully both players will keep. I always like to see, especially in the top 8 or the top 4 finals, you really want to see great matches. You never want to see mulligan, mulligan, mulligan. However, we saw a mulligan, mulligan, mulligan. It was a mulligan to 4, Jund versus Blue-White Red Flash. The Blue-White Red Flash player kept on 7, Sphinx Revelation for 5, and lost that game.
Still lost up approximately a million cards. Yeah, Nico Christensen. I talked to him about it.
What did he say?
He said he really messed up on the turn 4 where he could have cast the Restoration Angel.
Okay.
He said he thinks that his opponent got some free Mind Slavers off, like 2 or 3 free Mind Slavers.
Sure.
Maybe he played it. He played the turns as bad as possible, but he was a good sport about it. I talked to him 3 rounds after, so he had time to cool down.
Yeah, normally, when you take a loss like that, you're upset for the remainder of the round, maybe even next round. But after a while, you kind of find it funny. You're like, my opponent mulled the 4 and I lost.
Yeah, I love telling the story about how I mulled how my opponent mulled the 3 and crushed me.
Oh, really? Wow.
It wasn't even close. Fairy's Mirror, Bitter Blossom versus none.
Okay, yeah. It reminds me of the Conley Wood story when he was playing for top 8 at Worlds and his opponent mulled the 3. And went Landcraft Fetch.
Landcraft Fetch.
Yeah. So Jono's on the mulligan. He's the 5th seed. He's one of the 4 players in the top 8 playing Jund. So it just shows, Reed Duke sets some waves here. He wins with Jund all of a sudden.
Metagames turn on his finger.
Yeah. All right. So Michael Bonde leads off with a Godless Shrine. It looks like he's going to have the Doom Traveler once again. Really important. You think about it, Doom Traveler doesn't even make a lot of the limited decks. It's like Doom Traveler, kind of stinky, but here in this deck, it's a powerhouse.
Really, really strong, yeah. And what really impresses me about the Junk Aristocrats deck is just that it's so on curve. It has really good plays at every point in the curve.
Yeah.
Always using all of its mana.
Yeah, there's Cartel Aristocrat. Jonathan just with no Farseek, no Black Source right now.
Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't maul any of these hands that he kept.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want to go to 5, right?
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to 5, but at this point, what's he going to do here? He doesn't even have a Black Source for this Olivia in
Yeah,
hand.
I agree. His first hand might have been a bit skeptical. Maybe you could talk to him. I know you guys are really good friends, and ask what's going on. And even this game, given his hand, maybe 5, shouldn't have been out of the question,
Yeah, I think so. It's not like Jund is really lacking in terms of power cards that can take the game back.
Yeah, especially against something like Junk Aristocrats, where it's not powerful at all.
Right.
Junk Aristocrat works on synergy, but power to power, Jund has it outclassed by at least double.
So here comes another Doom Traveler.
Yeah.
Michael just content to build up his board here, hold the Tragic Slip in his hand,
Yeah.
and pass the turn back.
I think he had a Lingering Souls as well in his hand. So he could have opted to pay 2 life and cast the Lingering Souls, but really no need to. Maybe he puts Jonathan on a Bonfire, because why else would he keep his hand, he's thinking?
Right.
So
Jono draws the Blood Crypt, so
All right.
he's going to be able to slam the Olivia if he wants to.
just by his facial expressions, I think he knows. He's like, well, I got a Blood Crypt, but there's a Kessick Wolf Run, number 2, and there's Huntmaster, the fellas. All right, so let's see what Michael has to do about this. I think he's going to play his Tragic Slip, end of turn, sacrifice, kill that Huntmaster. What do you think?
I don't know how much he cares about this Huntmaster right here. He knows that Jono has access to 3 Olivia Valdarin, and he knows that card is so powerful against him. But it looks like he's going to go for it.
Are you sure he drew a Blood Crypt?
I thought he did.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe he wants to bait out the Tragic Slip with the Huntmaster here.
Yeah, so there's another Woodland Cemetery. And I think he's going to play Garrick and fight the wolf right now. And I mean, this just puts Michael in a great spot.
Seems pretty good.
He wants Garrick to be flipped.
That's its best form in this deck.
Yeah,
he gets
for
to
sure.
sack his
Doom Traveler.
Exactly. Any creature, go fetch up an Obsidian, go fetch up really anything.
Yeah. Of Varals.
Yeah.
So, all right, there's the Garrick. It will be left with 1 loyalty counter, and I think Michael's just going to swing in for 4 and be in pretty good shape. Jono is at 14, not that bad, but the more the game progresses like this, the worse it is for John.
Right. Now, Jono can play the Olivia this turn, but that said, he's not going to be able to activate it to ping down that Garrick, so Michael's going to get at least 1 turn, unless Jono decides to pillar.
Yeah, Jono does have a Blood Crypt, so he could pay the 2 life. Does he have Olivia in hand?
I think so.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he has Blood Crypt and Olivia available to him. That was the tank last turn. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to play Huntmaster or whether he wanted to shock himself to play Olivia.
Yeah, and I mean, he won't be able to do anything to Garrick besides attack it next turn. Olivia could shoot down a creature. Unfortunately, he won't be able to take out that Garrick quite yet. So it's at least 1 more turn.
Right.
Maybe more if the Doom Travelers gets in the way by sacrificing to make a token, maybe the Lingering Souls. And John doesn't have access to a ton of mana, so he's gonna have to spend 2 mana to shoot. So John's in a rough spot. I think he's thinking, what can I do to get out of this? Because if he has a pillar, pillar the Garrick. That's the first step. Okay, ooh, Bonfire for 1.
That's pretty good.
Redirect 1 to the Garrick. That's nice.
Yep. So that's going to save the Cartel Aristocrat, or rather give it pro-red,
just
in case.
Just for value, I guess.
Right.
And the Doom Traveler will die, but it'll be replaced with a 1/1 Spirit token.
Yeah, so Jono now gets to play his Blood Crypt tap, save 2 life.
Yeah, he does have an Olivia in hand, you're right.
Really? So he, at first it looked pretty bad for him. 2 Wolf Run, 2 Rootbound Crag, but he's within reach of stabilization here.
Yeah. And this is where Junk Aristocrats would love to have more and more. I said it so many times today, more and more Obsidots.
Right.
That card is so good.
Imagine if he could slam that card here.
Yeah. Well,
John would be on
I mean, you just made 2 life, maybe.
5 mana.
Oh, okay. I think he's going to go for Lingering Souls Flashback.
Okay.
Is that what it is, you think?
Looks like it.
Or is it Voraz?
Oh, Viral Scavenge.
Yeah. All right, and he's got to scavenge.
Double scavenge.
Okay, ooh, wow. Make the Cartel Aristocrat a 4/4. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's pretty huge right there.
All right,
And
so John's going to go to 9.
with Spirit Token backup for the sacrifice. This is pretty good for Michael.
All right, what can Jono do? Let's see. He'll start by drawing a card for his turn. A Thragtusk. Wow.
Ooh,
I called it.
How about that?
Thragtusk would help a little here, right?
Yeah, it's going to gain him some life. It's going to keep the Virals at home.
It just puts a big body on the table.
Right, it can take up the Spirit Token. I mean, little does Jono know, though, that Michael's last card is Lingering Souls.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really going to do. I mean, it's not going to take out the Spirit Token. I mean, maybe Michael will block. You know, if it gets to a point where he's worried about life totals.
Right.
It's a start.
Yeah,
you're definitely right here.
Get 5 power on the board at least.
Yeah, he might opt not even to play Thragtusk. He might go Pillar.
Oh, he has a Pillar.
Yeah, Olivia.
Oh, okay.
So
So it looks like...
Is he not going to regenerate? You could regenerate from Pillar.
Yeah, it exiles, but it does allow regenerate.
I think I would want to regenerate.
Interesting.
He could have sacrificed the Spirit to regenerate the Vorax. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay, kind of interesting maneuver there. Let's see. Pillar Flame deals 2 damage to target creature. Yeah, so he could have regenerated.
Yeah, I guess
sacrifice another creature to regenerate.
Either that was one of the very first misplays we've seen Michael make today, or he just wants to keep 5 power on the board to keep Jono on a 2-turn clock.
I think it was probably a misplay. We could definitely, you know, maybe he'll win the tournament and we'll interview him and ask him about it.
Yeah, 2-turn clock versus a 3-turn clock versus a Jun deck is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So he made the Cartel Aristocrat Pro Black. Not really going to have a relevance here.
Right. It shuts off a sorcery speed Dreadbore, I suppose.
Sure.
From Jono.
And I think Jono, if that is an Olivia, which I think it is, I think he's going to drop the Olivia here.
Yeah, he has to slam it. His other play is to Pillar the Spirit.
Pillar Spirit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I guess he's going to be really upset to find out that Michael's last card is Lingering Souls.
Yeah, I would have gotten the Olivia out there.
Oh, and he drew a voice. Maybe you just go voice Lingering Souls instead of going Lingering Souls flashback.
Right, to play around any kind of bonfire shenanigans.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fine line. There's a voice. And there is a Lingering Souls. I mean, maybe Jono was trying to play around a Tragic Slip.
Okay, at some point, though, you have to play your card. Jono might just die here with his best card still in hand.
Yeah, Olivia is the best weapon against Junk Aristocrats here. So, and if you thought maybe he did have a Tragic Slip, why not get down the Thragtusk, gain some life, and put a 5-power guy on the board, which combos well with your Wolf Run, right? So
Jono, Thragtusk comes into play. 10 life. Right. Still not in great shape, but it's a start.
All right, Michael will draw for the turn. Now, Michael doesn't even really need to draw anything. He could just swing in, attack for 5 with giving the Cartel Aristocrat Pro Green, 1 in the air, bring Jonathan down to 5, leave back Voice of Resurgence, and Jono's going to have to find an answer. Otherwise, Michael will, have the match here.
Yeah, and another
Cartel Aristocrat. Wow, some good draws. It's weird, too, because Junk Aristocrats place 25 lands, but every time I watch, they always stop at 4 or 5, you know?
It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Bonde definitely running good in this tournament. He's had some great draws on camera, but to back it up, he's played pretty well as due.
Yeah, the only play that I might have disagreed with was that Pillar Flame in the Vorax. So,
yeah, I still understand why he did it though. Like, it may be a misplay, but he wanted to kill Jono in 2 turns rather than just 3. Yeah, he wanted to give Jono as few turns as possible.
The way he picked it up, I think he kind of misunderstood what Pillar did, and then kind of realized it was it might have been a slight misplay, but Jono is surveying the board right here, and that's going to be a Miracle Bonfire for 5. Ooh. And he could live 1 more turn?
I don't think he can.
Yeah.
I think
he can't because of the Lingering Souls
yeah.
in the yard. Yep, that's it. As long as Michael sees the play, which I think he will.
I have to imagine. He's been playing this deck all day.
Could Jono have done anything else there? Could he have bonfired for 1?
2 or 1?
Played Olivia? I don't think so. There's Lingering Souls. And Jono extends the hand, and wow, Michael Bonde, he moves on to the top 4. He's coming back, and he's playing tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A 19-minute match right there. Really fast.
That was quick.
Yeah.